All right, guys, Mr. Jenkins here just to finish up the examples that I skipped over for 2-3. Remember that these are multi-step equations, so on most of these, your first step is going to be to simplify one or both sides, okay? So we had left off, I'm on example 3C here, all right? So what's not simplified about 3C is I need to distribute and then go from there. Okay, so get my calculator where it needs to be. So it wouldn't make sense to divide both sides by -4 here because 4 doesn't go into 63, so it only really makes sense to distribute. So -4 times C is -4C. And -4 times +6 is -24. And then we have equals -63. All right, now I'm ready to start moving terms. So I want to move this -24 over to the other side. I need to do that by adding 24 to both sides. And you don't have to show your work like I'm doing. I'm just writing that up there so that you can see what I'm doing. So over on the left side, we are left with whatever -4C plus 0 is, so just -4C. All right, and then on the other side, I have whatever -63 plus 24 is, and I don't even mess around, and potentially get that wrong. Just punch it into your calculator. Don't be a hero, and so we get -39. All right, so you might think, well, 4 doesn't go into 39, and you're right, okay? But we're ready to go ahead and divide. So -39 divided by -4 is 9.75. Most of the time, if it's a decimal like that, MathXL will take it. If not, though, if they count that as wrong, generally they're looking for a fraction. So it's good to know how to make your calculator convert that to 9 3/4. So that should pop up with C equals 9.75 or 9 3/4. And there it is. Okay, let's maybe do one more of these. So D and E are pretty similar. So let's do maybe E just so I'm not jumbled up. And you can see D worked out on the notes. Okay, so the first thing I want to do, obviously there's lots to do on the left side. The right side is clearly simplified. But the first thing I want to do is distribute. So that's going to give me E. I'm just bringing that down. And then 5 times E is 5E, so plus 5E. 5 times -1 is -5. All right, next thing we want to do is combine like terms. What I always told my middle school kids to do here is write a 1 there, right? So then that makes it more obvious. 1 plus 5 is 6. So when I combine like terms, I get 6E. I just bring down the rest. Now I want to get rid of the -5, so I'm doing +5 to both sides. So on the left side, I just have 6E plus 0, so 6E. And on the right side, I have the sum of 7 plus 5, which is 12. Okay, and now I'm ready to just go ahead and divide both sides by 6. So that would give me 1E, or just E equals whatever 12 over 6 is. That is going to be 2. E equals 2. Now, it's always good to remember here, too, no matter how confusing they get, this literally means we should be able to sub E in, and it should give me the right answer. So this is good calculator practice. So I'm going to type this top line in, but everywhere I see an E, I'm going to replace it with a 2. 2 plus 5 parentheses 2 minus 1, close parentheses. And then I'm going to hit equals and hope for a 7. There you see it is 7. So that's good news. All right, do a couple of these. Now, I'm going to show you the way I would do these, but it's not the only way to do them, okay? So I think the best way to do these here at the bottom is to try to get rid of your, those denominators, right? So I'm thinking, what is a common denominator? What's the lowest common denominator for 4 and 3? In other words, what's the smallest number that both 4 and 3 go into? And the answer is they both go into 12. So if I multiply both sides by 12, that is going to get rid of both of those numbers. That's what I'm going to do. On the left side, you're basically thinking distributive property. Okay, so I'm taking 12 times 3/4. 12 times 3/4, right? So you could just punch that in. 12 times, remember on your calculator, it's 3ABC4. On this type of calculator, you got to punch it in that way. So 12 times 3/4 is 9. So 12 times 3/4 A is 9A. And then you're taking 12 times, that's 1A over 3, or minus 1A over 3, so that's 12 times 1/3. 12 times 1/3. Delete that. So that gives me 4. So minus 4A. And then equals whatever 10 times 12 is, that's 120. Now I'm just taking 9 minus 4, 9A minus 4A to get 5A. And then I'm dividing both sides by 5, so 120 over 5 is 24. Look at my favorite number, just making all kinds of appearances. All right, and then I'm just going to do example B and probably leave the rest for you to look up. So looking at B, actually B is pretty easy. Let me just do these fraction ones. I'll leave the decimal ones for you guys. Those are pretty obvious, I think, on what to do. So say on C you didn't like how I did that. Your other option would be to add 3/4 plus 3/5. Okay, you could do that way, and then that would be, you know, your new coefficient. All right, but I'm going to continue to go ahead and multiply by a lowest common denominator. So what is it for 5 and 4? It's going to be 20. All right, so 3/5 times 20. Three-fifths times 20 is, sorry, that's not what I meant to do. Let's just type that in right. 20 times 3/5 is 12. So 12C plus 3/4 times 20. Be 15 equals whatever 3 times 20 is, so that'd be 60. Now we're adding those together. 12 plus 15 is 27, so that's 27C equals 60. Let's see what 60 divided by 27. So that's going to be one on MathXL you're not going to be able to enter in that way. So you're going to need to know how to have your calculator turn that into a fraction. On mine, math and then fraction. On yours, it's going to be different. So see me if you don't know how to do that on these. So that's going to be 20 over 9. Or your calculator might say 2 2/9. All right. And so I can show E in class if you would like, but for now I'll leave it for you to look up. I will give you lesson 2 for tomorrow, so if you are really struggling on this, just make sure that you're getting help, using all your resources, your notes, etc. But besides that, have a good day, and just make sure you're keeping up on everything. And as always, thanks for your effort. Keep working hard.